Hey everybody, welcome back. Ready to jump into the wild world of Miami real estate.
Always ready to dig into the data.
This deep dive, we're tackling the Miami-Dade single-family home market. And let me tell you, August 2024 had some interesting twists and turns.
Definitely keeping us on our toes.
We're talking fresh off the press numbers from the Miami Association of Realtors, their latest report, and we're going to break it all down, figure out what it all really means.
Because beyond those charts and graphs, there's a story here.
Exactly. And we're going to uncover it. All right, let's kick things off with the big picture stuff, sales and prices. Closed sales, they're up a bit compared to August last year. Sounds good, but...
There's always a but in Miami real estate.
Isn't there? They've actually dipped a bit since June and July. Summertime in Miami, it's usually prime time for buying and selling. So this little slowdown has me wondering.
Yeah, it's definitely noticeable.
Are buyers tapping the brakes a little? Or is it just that crazy summer competition finally starting to cool off? What do you think?
It's probably a mix of things. Honestly, it could be a little bit of that summer slowdown, but also buyers might be getting a tad more cautious. The market's been on a tear for a while now.
Makes sense. So a little less move fast and break the bank, maybe?
Maybe. But let's not forget, Miami's still a hot market.
Oh, absolutely. Speaking of hot, let's talk prices. The median price for single-family homes, it's still climbing, but not quite as steeply as we've seen in recent months. Those bidding wars, those crazy offers, way over asking, it seems like things might be, I don't know.
Leveling out a bit.
Yeah, leveling out. So what do you think this more moderate price growth says to buyers and sellers? Is it a sigh of relief, a reality check? What?
Well, for sellers who maybe got used to those above asking in a flash offers, it could be a bit of a wake-up call. But for buyers, it might be a glimmer of hope, a sign that the market's becoming a tad more approachable.
I like that, approachable.
Yeah.
A little less Miami Vice, a little more laid-back beach vibes.
Exactly.
But hold on to your mojitos, folks, because there's another trend in this report that's got me really intrigued. Cash buyers, they're down, like way down.
Yeah, that's a big one.
A whole 21.5% drop compared to August of last year. Now, that's going to mean something, right?
It definitely does. Cash sales, they're often a good indicator of investor activity. You know, those folks with the big bucks who can swoop in and make those all-cash offers that are tough to compete with.
Right, those cash is king kind of deals.
Exactly. So a drop like this, it could mean that investors are, I don't know, maybe pumping the brakes a little on Miami-Dade.
Interesting. So are investors getting cold feet about Miami real estate?
Could be. I mean, the slowing price growth, that might have some of them thinking twice. You know, they're used to those quick returns. Plus, interest rates, they're making it pricier to borrow money, even for investors with those deeper pockets.
Right. It's not just about having the cash anymore. It's about the cost of that cash.
Exactly. And let's not forget the big picture, the whole economy thing. When there's uncertainty out there, investors tend to, I don't know.
Play it safe.
Exactly. Better safe than sorry, right?
Makes sense. So fewer cash buyers crowding the field. That's got to be good news for the regular buyers out there, right?
Yeah.
Less competition, maybe chance to actually get a foot in the door.
It could be. Imagine you find that perfect place, that Miami dream home, and bam, cash offer swoops in, snatches it right up. The shift, it might mean you actually have a fighting chance now. But, and you knew there was going to be a but, right?
Always a but in Miami real estate. What is it this time?
Well, fewer cash buyers, it's great, but it doesn't mean much if there are still no houses to buy, right? We got to talk inventory.
Right. The number of houses actually for sale. And speaking of the report, it shows inventory is up compared to last August, like way up.
Yeah.
A whole 36.6% increase.
Yeah, that's a pretty significant jump.
So does that mean things are finally swinging in favor of buyers? More houses to choose from? That's got to be good news, right?
It's definitely a positive sign. Think of it like this last year, you walk into a bakery, there's only one lonely croissant left on the shelf. This year, the shelves are fully stocked, your favorite pastries all lined up, just waiting for you.
Okay, I like where this analogy is going. More options, sweeter deal. Right.
Exactly. More inventory usually means buyers have a bit more leverage, a bit more room to breathe, maybe even negotiate a little on price. But, and I'm sorry, there's another but here.
Another one. Lay it on me.
We can't just look at the number of houses, right? We also got to consider how long those houses are sitting on the market, what we call the month's supply of inventory, or MSI.
Okay, so break it down for us. What is a 4.7 MSI, which is what Miami's sitting at? What does that really tell us?
Well, think of MSI as a measuring stick. It tells us how long it would take to sell all the houses currently listed, if no new listings popped up.
Okay, so a snapshot in time, kind of.
Exactly. Now, in a balanced market where buyers and sellers, they're on kind of equal footing, that MSI usually hangs out around 5.5 months, give or take.
So with Miami at 4.7, what are we talking? Full-on croissant scarcity, or is there a chance we could snag a pain au chocolat too?
Well, it's not quite a buyer's paradise yet, not with that 4.7. It tells us Miami-Dade, it's still leaning towards a seller's market, not the real estate roller coaster we saw at the peak, but not quite a leisurely stroll down the beach either.
So sellers still have a bit of an upper hand.
They still have some leverage, yeah. You might still run into some competition, maybe have a little less wiggle room to negotiate on price, but it's not the frenzy it once was.
Okay, so a little more breathing room, but maybe not quite ready to let out that sigh of relief just yet.
Exactly. Now, let's talk about another piece of this puzzle. How long those for sale signs are actually staying up before they switch to sold.
Right, because getting a house under contract, that's just one hurdle,
Yeah.
right? What about actually sealing the deal, that final closing handshake?
You're talking time on market data. It's a key indicator of how things are really moving. And the August report, it's showing us some interesting trends.
Okay, lay it on us. What's the inside scoop?
Well, the median time to sale, meaning the time it takes from listing a property to that final closing, it's up compared to last year. But here's where it gets interesting. The median time to get a contract signed, that's actually shorter than last year.
Hold on. So contracts are happening faster, but the finish line seems further away. What's the deal with that? People taking longer to pack their moving boxes?
It's not about the packing tape and cardboard boxes. This gap between a quicker time to contract and a longer time to close, it might be telling us there are some speed bumps popping up during the closing process itself.
Interesting. So what kind of speed bumps are we talking about? What's slowing things down?
Well, one possibility is appraisals. Imagine this. A buyer eager to get into a house, especially in this market, they offer a bit over asking price, right? But then the appraisal comes back and it's lower than that offer.
Oh, that's got to sting.
It can create this back and forth, this tug of war between the buyer and the seller, and that can definitely delay the closing.
Makes sense. It makes me think back to those cash buyers, or the lack thereof, that we were talking about earlier. If fewer people are throwing down those all-cash offers, it stands to reason we might see more of these financing hiccups popping up during closing.
Precisely. It's like a domino effect.
Yeah.
Fewer cash buyers could mean more buyers relying on mortgages, which, as you pointed out, can sometimes hit a snag, especially if those appraisals come in low or lenders are being extra cautious.
It's like a game of real estate dominoes.
Yeah.
One piece moves, and it can set off a whole chain reaction. Speaking of chain reactions, this brings us to another interesting trend in the report, where houses are selling or not selling in terms of price. We're seeing this interesting shift happening.
You're absolutely right. The report breaks down sales by price range, and it paints a fascinating picture of a market that seems to be splitting in two.
Right, like a real estate dance floor where the music's changed, and now everyone's shuffling to a different beat. So let's break it down. What kind of moves are those different price segments making?
Well, at the lower end of the market, specifically homes priced under $400,000, the number of sales has dipped quite a bit. Remember those rising interest rates we talked about? They hit first-time buyers and those looking for more affordable options the hardest. Those monthly mortgage payments are looking a lot steeper these days.
It's like trying to climb aboard a real estate roller coaster that keeps getting faster and more expensive. So if the more affordable end of the market is feeling the squeeze, where are buyers headed? Are they hopping off the roller coaster, or are they just moving to a different car?
That's the million-dollar question, quite literally. The report shows that while sales are slowing down at the lower end, the $600,000 to $999,999 range, that's still seeing a good amount of action. And get this, sales for homes priced at $1 million or more, they're actually up significantly.
Wow. So while some buyers are getting priced out, others are scaling up. It's like the Miami real estate market is transforming into a luxury high-rise right before our eyes.
It's a trend worth watching closely, for sure. Imagine this. While first-time buyers are struggling to get their foot in the door, luxury properties are practically flying off the virtual shelves.
Yeah, it's a stark contrast.
And it could create a ripple effect. You see, with those higher price points gaining momentum, it could push prices up even higher in that mid-range, making it even tougher for those who aren't already in the market.
That's a really good point. It's like trying to find a parking spot in South Beach on a Saturday night. The competition is fierce, and the prices only seem to go up.
That's a great analogy.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into the August 2024 Miami-Dade real estate scene, we're left with a bit of a cliffhanger here.
Aren't we always?
Right, it's Miami. What's next for this dynamic market? Will it keep tilting towards those million-dollar condos and waterfront mansions, or will we see some kind of course correction that makes things a bit more accessible for everyone else?
That's the question on everyone's mind. And, the data, it offers some clues, but no easy answers. This is Miami we're talking about, a city known for its unpredictable twists and turns.
That it is. So for all you listeners out there, navigating the exciting, always evolving world of Miami real estate, here's something to chew on. Given the rise in inventory, the cooling price growth, and this intriguing shift in buyer demographics, could Miami-Dade be on the verge of becoming a bit more buyer-friendly? Or will the forces of high demand and limited supply, will those keep those sold signs flashing bright?
Only time will tell. But hey, armed with the insights from this deep dive, you'll be better equipped to make smart decisions out there. Whether you're aiming for that oceanfront penthouse or that charming starter home in Coral Gables.
You got it. Knowledge is power, especially in a market as fast-paced as Miami. Until next time, happy house hunting, everyone.